Oh, every damn time. Where do I gotta be? Do 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 do. Oh my, all right. 50 million years ago, they walked upon the planet so, Lord of all that you could see, just a little bit like me. We're walking in your footsteps, walking in your footsteps. We're walking in your footsteps, walking in your footsteps. Hey, Mr. Dinosaur, you really couldn't ask for more. Dinosaur. You're God's favorite creature, but you didn't have a future. No, we're walking in your footsteps, walking in your footsteps. We're walking in your footsteps, walking in your footsteps. Hey, mighty brontosaurus, don't you have a lesson for us? You thought your rule would always last. There were no lessons in your past. You were built 3 stories high, said you would not hurt a fly. If we explode the atom bomb, would you say that we were done? We're walking in your footsteps, walking in your footsteps, walking in your footsteps, walking in your footsteps. They say the meek shall inherit the earth. They say the meek shall inherit the earth. 50 million years ago, they walked upon the planet so, they live in a museum. It's the only place you'll see them, walking in footsteps, walking in footsteps. Oh yeah, spot on version of Walking in Your Footsteps by the Police from the Synchronicity album. That was probably one of my favorite cuts off of that album. You know, sometimes on the Book of Faces they ask you, what's your first album you ever bought? Put it in below so that we can build even more accurate, like a composite of who you are, so to make our marketing more efficient. And I never answer those, but I think actually the first album or LP I ever bought was Chic. Remember, and they had a song named after their own group, or they named their group after their song, or something like Chic, exciting, so inviting to me. I can't quite remember. But then my buddy, Patty Chin Daddy, got me the say what you will, but don't play games with my affection for my birthday. That was a Michael Jackson Paul McCartney collaboration. That, I believe, is when Michael Jackson told Paul that he was going to buy his catalog, which he did. He owned the Beatles. Maybe he still does in posterity. And So this, I was looking, there's no wiki that I could find about this, but this was a real fast song apparently, written on Montserrat, that little island in the Bahamas, where they recorded this album, where they enjoyed retiring to, no, what's the term? Retreating to, perhaps, to record in a desert island paradise at something called Air Studios, AIR, not sure what that stands for. But so, I used to love Synchronicity, I think was the first album that I fell in love with. Really like that, and the Synchronicity songs, and I always thought Miss Grindenko was kind of a buzzkill, but everything else was pretty spot on. So, art update, anyone? So, today, well, actually a few days ago I started filming, and we're going to do a little tutorial about how to make what I'm calling a palimpsest collage. You see that? Palimpsest is comes from the Greek word which means to scratch again. So back in the day, vellum, which is an animal hide paper, as opposed to papyrus, what they would do is they would prepare some animal hide and use that as a sort of paper, vellum, and they would write on that, but it was, as you can imagine, that was quite a process. It was rare and expensive, so they would reuse it, and they would wash it with, what was it, milk and oats or something like that, to get all of the pigment off, and then they would write on top of that. But sometimes over time, the original markings would resurface, and so this sort of effect, or this sort of instance, is called a palimpsest. And so what I did was, today I just sanded this down. There was a little bit of paper left on here on the surface. What I do is I rub off most of the paper with a warm damp sponge, and then some stubborn places I just sand off with 120 grit sandpaper. And then the next step is going to be, I'm going to glue some of this blueprint, or as I like to say, diazoprint, over that, and do the same thing. Now when you glue it, you have to glue it pigment side down, because what you're going to do is you're going to rub off you're going to scratch again all of the backing paper to just leave the imprint of the pigmentation here. So that's what's going on with the art. Oh, and I'm making a tutorial video, so once I've got that the process done and edited, I'm going to put that up, and so you can enjoy that. I might have to split it up into a few pieces. So this has 2 layers of paper on there. I started with the book pages, you can see under there. The book pages, you can see sort of the outline of the page itself, and then I put the musical notation over that. And now I'm going to go with the diazotype blueprint, or diazoprint blueprint, and then a final sheet of smaller book pages. So, hoping that turns out nicely. So, what's everyone doing today? On this Friday, it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Oh, and it's also Armistice Day or something like that. So, another holiday. Yesterday there was a strike. Today there's a holiday. Kids just got back in from school, started half day early on Monday. So, daughter has had 3.5 days of school this week. Well, 2.5 days of school. Because when they're having a strike, that means none of the buses or metros are very reduced, and the public bicycles, the Velib, as I like to say, are very scarce. So I think she just slept it off. Well, I don't know, I could do some philosophy, but you guys seem to enjoy this police song, so as do I, so. They say the meek shall inherit the earth. And then Andy Summers just doing some weird atmospheric guitar type things. They say the meek shall inherit the earth. Oh, excuse me. I have to make some room on the screen here. Hey, my robotic brontosaurus, don't you have a lesson for us? You thought your room would always last. There were no lessons in your past. You were built these stories high, so you were not hurt to fly. We explode the atom bomb. Would you say that we were dumb? Walking in your footsteps, walking in your footsteps. They say that for the recording of this song, it's mostly percussion is what makes it. And there's a sequence on there, and I guess Sting programmed it, but just was too lazy to create some effects of his own, so he just used the out-of-box sequencing. Fun bit of trivia, neither here nor there. Walking in your footsteps, we're walking in your footsteps. They say the meek, gotta be meek.